Welcome back. We're talking with everybody's favorite plant and garden expert, Craig Hignight. Thanks for being with us. We left off, Andrew, you got the next question.
Yeah, this is from Curdy. Can you winter over nonstop begonias?
Oh, sure. We've got one out on our balcony right now. I think it's the 5th year, what we do with the nonstop. You have to leave it out fairly long into the fall. They don't have a tuber. It's a tuberous begonia. And they don't have that tuber when they're started in the spring. So you leave it out until the nighttime temperature is consistently dropping to about 50 degrees, and then our little fellow just goes on a shelf in the garage where it's not going to freeze. It goes dormant. It sits there in a dry pot of soil all winter, comes back up to the balcony in the spring, gets a little water, and it's off and running again for 5 years now.
The tuber. Love it.
Tuberous begonia. There are many different kinds of begonias. Many.
That's cool.
Deb writes in, what's the best way to kill tree stumps?
Tree stumps. If you've, like I mentioned, that brush and stump killer, it works on tree stumps also. A lot of times when you cut a tree down, you get just hundreds of little sprouts coming up off the cut stump. So you go out, you cut them off, treat them with the stump killer, and the stump is going to die. It's not going to rot away any faster. For that, you normally have to drill holes in it and keep those holes filled with high nitrogen fertilizer to give the fungus and bacteria what they need to rot the stump out.
How do you feel about a dog question?
Okay.
We'll see what we get with this one. Okay, this is from Deneen. Why does my dog like to eat clematis? Supposedly it's supposed to taste bitter and they shouldn't like it, but he keeps destroying them. Any suggestions?
You have one strange dog there, I must admit. Now, we had a dog, he never looked at a plant, but he loved potting soil.
Huh.
He'd eat the dirt out of the pots. No, all animals, usually they're not going to eat things that are going to damage them. Maybe your dog, like, some people crave chocolate. Your dog might just crave clematis. Sounds like this plant is going to live with a little chicken wire around it to keep Mr. Dog at bay.
Yep.
Cindy writes in, I have a 6-foot-tall cottonwood in my yard that they want to keep. Has some small black dots on the underside of some leaves. Big ants are all over it. What does she do?
Okay, the ants are probably going after honeydew from aphids that are on the tree. You might use something like a insecticidal soap to get that under control. And it's just like the spots on the hydrangeas. And if the tree is not defoliating, if it's just very small spots, by the time we get to this part of the year, I don't expect plants to look pristine at this point. And if the spots are multiplying, there again, you want to be out there with a broad spectrum fungicide to get it under control. But again, I don't think it's going to kill the tree. Cottonwoods are pretty tough.
From Barbara, how do I get rid of ground bees?
Ground bees?
Ground bees.
Ground bees. Okay. What you want to do, you want to find out where their nest is, mark it during the day, and then when it gets dark, you go out with a pot of soil and some insecticide, powdered preferably. You spoon a little insecticide down the hole, cover the hole with dirt, and as those bees dig their way back out, they're going to dig through the insecticide, and of course, all insects clean themselves constantly. The nest is not going to last for very long.
Rita writes in, I have a vine growing up everything, need to kill it without hurting the shrubs that it's growing next to. What does she do?
Okay, what you want to do is go ahead and you put on a rubber gloves and then cotton gloves, and then you have Roundup diluted and ready to go. You dip your fingers in the Roundup, kind of squeeze your gloves out a little bit, and then you are going to hand paint only the leaves on this killer vine. You want to keep it off of the desirable plant materials, and that way you're treating the vine. You're not going to get anything on the desirable shrubs. Just remember that when you're done, the gloves all get thrown away, and you take a good shower.
All right. Thank you so much, Craig. Be sure to join our Facebook Live with Craig each and every Wednesday. There you can submit your questions and be a part of our conversation.